Good morning. This is Randy Bassett for Micro Moment Trading. Joe is tied up. Joe Hooper, normally the owner of the company, is tied up today. He's got some technical issues to take care of. So it's me. Hopefully Marcus will, or Micah will be joining us shortly. But I'd like to welcome you. Hope you've had a happy new year. This is our first podcast, I believe, for 2020. And when you get a little older like me, it just seems like yesterday was 2018. It just travels very fast. Time moves very, very quickly. I think the older that we get, the faster that it seems to move. But hope you had a very happy new year, and the markets are moving right along. New all-time highs again today. The Nasdaq and the S&P are both trading at new all-time highs, and actually at the high of the day. And so market just keeps shrugging off what's going on out there in the rest of the world. So I'd like to invite you to sign up for the Cow Report that Joe sends out every week on Friday evening. It's free, and it just kind of lets you keep up to what's going on with everyone at Micro Moment Trading, the compound stock earnings. So you can go to the website at www.compoundstockearnings.com, and I think also www.micromomenttrading.com, and sign up. Just provide your email address. That's it. No credit card or anything. It's free. And so I urge you to go ahead and take advantage of that. What I do at Compound Stock Earnings, Hey, how you doing, Keith? There's Keith. He's with us there today as well. Happy New Year to you. What I do is I teach two different techniques. Some people probably call those strategies out there in the market. We call them techniques. I teach the advanced charting, which is a proprietary charting package at Compound Stock Earnings, and it's extremely helpful in making decisions on entry and exiting of positions for anything that's being traded. But I teach how to use that chart for what we call momentum trading. That's finding the beginning of the cycle and entering an option, just simply buying an option and then selling it as that trend continues, that cycle continues. And I give a 1 to 1.5 hour every week live in the market training session every Monday morning, where I analyze 35 or 40 charts looking for new entry positions and answering questions as to how to use the chart for any other types of trading. And for this week, the position was on McDonald's. So I enter the positions live in my own account, and those that are following along on the training webinar enter them in their virtual trading account so that they can learn hands-on as the market is continuing. And so I entered McDonald's, and 2 hours later, it was a 4.5% income. So I closed it in 2 hours, entered it, bought the call. McDonald's went up, just as the charts had said that it would, and closed it out in 2 hours. In addition, I also entered it as a covered call, which is the other service that I teach, and it provides a 2-hour teaching webinar live in the market every Wednesday morning. And so I also enter McDonald's at the same time with the synthetic covered call technique that I teach on Wednesdays. And that one ended up being a 7.3% return for 2 days of investment. Entered it on Monday morning, closed it on Wednesday morning. McDonald's is probably going up. This is a great time to do covered calls. And what a covered call is, for those that don't know, and at Compound Stock Earnings here, we treat them slightly differently than the rest of the market. A covered call is actually buying stock or a long call and selling an in the money near term, and I use weekly, so it's a near week option against that long position with the intent of being called out. Now, that's highly different than the normal use, quote, normal out there in the market. Most people are buying options that are out of the money, hoping that something is going to happen and it's going to go up. But with our techniques, since we're selling in the money options, the stock can go up or down, and we can still get called out with all of our capital return and our return locked in. And so that's what I did with McDonald's. And here, hey Micah, how you doing? There's Micah. He's joining us as well. So the rest of the positions. Oh, and these teaching sessions are recorded and then archived, so that even if you're not available to be there live during the market, you can still take advantage of all the training by watching them on the recording. And so, and you can watch the recording as many times as you want, over and over and over again. So the additional positions that I have found for last week: closed Roku at a 13.6% return for 1 week, closed Apple at 8.7% return for 6 days. Those I closed on Thursday. I just closed them out to lock in the returns, not knowing that this market is, as anybody that's been watching it clearly knows, it can change around at the drop of a hat, a moment's notice, based on some tweet or some communication of some kind, whether it's a rumor or innuendo or an actual fact, which you never know what it is. These days, things get transferred around so quickly, you never know what's really true and what's not true, but the market reacts to them instantaneously. And so it can be going in one direction, and in a second, it can totally switch to the opposite direction. So when I've got my profit, I go ahead and close it out. Also did Alibaba, 4.2% for 6 days. Lulu, 5.1% for 6 days. Amazon, 7.5% for 3 days. And those are all the ones that were entered and closed out last week. So for this week, I have an Apple position that's going right now that is at the 285 mark. It's trading at 309. So as long as it stays above 285, then that one will be returning about a little over 6% return for tomorrow. In addition to that, I have a Constellation Brands, STZ, that's in place. And my profitable position is at 175, and it is currently trading at 193. So it has $18 of room to stay within, and I'll close that one for the full profit tomorrow. And again, see, that's the idea, is be way deep in the money in these positions with a positive called return. That means being called out and getting all your capital back with a profit. And so that's the benefit of it. So these stocks can go up or down, and I still make my profit. Therefore, I'm not speculating that something's going to go up, but we use our advanced charts to be able to check those and pick them, along with the other rules that we have. And everything that we teach is rule-based. So you learn a set of rules and you follow those rules, no matter what technique that you're using. So anyway, so you can see that. You can join. You can ask questions. With the cow report, you can see the emails that the client sent in during the week, and you can kind of see what they are doing. Oh, just closed out my trade the moment, Micah. Just got 20 cents. So that 4% return while we're talking right here. I entered it at 5 and got out at 520. Yeah. Yep. Well, see, because I do SPX, and so Michael will be talking about what he does, because he does things that in like 15 seconds he's making returns, where you can see mine take 4, 5, 6 days usually. But I also follow his techniques along on my own as well, and pick up a little extra income here and there on positions. So anyway, that's me. Let's see. We have a question here from Frank. Good morning. Did Joe's covered call seminar? I tried finding positions to trade the covered call screener as extremely limited. Okay. There is a toolbox, we call it, and you can subscribe to that. And it includes what we call a covered call screener that goes out and looks for good entry positions for covered calls. It has lots of different criteria to help increase the probability that you'll be called out. One of those criteria is the chart needs the 1 year line chart needs to be in the lower 75% of the 52-week range. Well, we're trading at all-time highs right now, and so a good number of stocks are also at the top of their at least 52-week trading range, if not all time. So that's going to knock out a lot of positions for intern covered calls. That doesn't mean that we can't find other ones, and in the covered call platinum service, as well as our covered call coaching service that we have, you can see that I'm finding positions to generate income week after week after week. Some from the screener, but on the times when, like this, where the market's at the all-time high, then I have other ways of finding with our advanced charts instead of just the regular chart. So hopefully that answers your question. But why don't we let Micah talk about what he's been doing?
Yeah, for sure. It was a pretty good week so far. We've had some technical issues this week that I apologize for. Today, the GoToWebinar service was totally glitched out. For some reason, I tried to enter this morning and it entered me as a client, an attendee. Did the same thing with Joe and our tech lady. So we were completely locked out of GoToWebinar today and had an unexpected cancellation on our morning session. So for anybody that was supposed to be there that is here now, I apologize for that. That should be fixed by tomorrow, and we'll definitely have a word with them because that is unacceptable for sure. So I apologize for that. But at the same time, we didn't miss much. It was a pretty flat morning, just a lot of reversals back and forth on Apple. Same thing on Q. We've seen this sideways consolidation. It's just, peaking outside the Bollinger Bands and just bouncing right back in over and over. Really only possibly a couple trade possibilities later on. There's one now that's breaking out pretty nicely, but yeah, really limited movement. And because the news lately is more of a fear-based news, you can see the effects of that in the option chain. Standardly, the moves are due to news on, revenue or, patent type things, or just news based around the companies themselves and their actions, what they're doing. It's a lot more stable because, people are allowed to express their opinions and buy positions based off of that. But in this market and environment, nobody wants to be, in at the top. We're at all-time highs, and everybody's, again, we're not getting political in here, just a matter of fact. Everybody's, starting to get the word war in their mind and all of this unrest, things like that. So that creates a very fear-based market, which every time you see a turn down, the option price just sucks back really hard. Standardly, we see, say we're looking at a call, we see a nice and steady climb, we see an increase in the call, it moves according to the delta, whatever the delta is, it moves up at that rate, and then it pauses, the option price pauses, turns down, and it moves down at the inverse rate of the delta. But nowadays, we're seeing a very slow climb on the option price. It's moving slower than the delta, and then it doesn't even have to turn. As soon as it stops climbing, as soon as it pauses, you see this pullback of about 5 up to like 10-15% on the option price. It just gets the guts ripped out of it right away, and then it moves from there. It tries to. So there's a lot of difficulty we've been having with trying to get ahead of these positions, get in early enough to where we can still catch the bit of the upside. But our trades have been significantly less frequent due to protecting. That's obviously okay. We're playing a marathon game, and we want to see, where we're at after a year, and all of these different market conditions go into that. So I don't remember who said it, but I've heard somebody say that adaptability is the number one skill you can have as a trader of any sort, no matter, trading option stocks. You have to be able to adapt to the market, because the only guarantee you have in all of trading is that there will be changes. So yeah, we're trying to be adaptable, keep everything very safe, because we do have not a higher risk technique, but a more volatile. We play on the short-term volatility, which can cause really big swings. So we're just managing right now, and taking little trades when we can.
Well, one of the good things, Micah, is you not only do the trades, but you're teaching people how to do those trades, and they can subscribe to our intraday streaming chart, which is what we use for your service. And even though you're not able to perform your webinar today, people are still out there trading and getting good profits. In fact, while you were just talking, when I gave up, I just made another 20 cents a share, which was 4.1% return on SPX on the micro moment trading, because I've got my, and you'll notice Keith is looking up and I'm looking over, and because we're always watching our charts for new entries and exit positions. And so right over here on my right, I've got the intraday streaming chart up and I'm watching, and we just watch for the lines to cross, and Micah teaches exactly how to do that. And it says it's time to enter now and then get our profit. And we don't wait for like $1 billion of profit. We take little profits along the way. This is a income generation technique, not a grow your portfolio to millions of dollars in 2 months. It's get constant, consistent income day after day after day. And with Micah's, you can do it for a half hour and you're done. With the cover call technique, I'm looking at it all during the day, looking for new positions because they take longer. But there's all types of different techniques depending on the type of trading that you want to do, the amount of time that you want to spend, and the types of returns that you're looking for. So, Micah, there's a question for you there. Can you see that question? It says,
yes,
Micah,
sir. Question from Micah. The other day I was in a great. Oh yeah, I got it. Yep. There's a little bit of delay on your connection, I believe, Randy. But yeah, he was in a great triple Q call on paper trading, but tried 3 times and could not sell my contracts with adjustments. I was on TradeStation. Was 100 contracts too big? No, Eric. I know exactly what you're talking about. I've encountered that. I tried everything everywhere from 1 to 500 contracts, and it's just something with TradeStation's paper trading that they're not motivated to fix. So I would paper trade in the same way, but your returns, I would not calculate against what it shows because the fills are just completely inaccurate. There's also, it's not even a glitch. It's just all the time I'll fill into positions for, 10, 20 cents better than my limit. I'll, send a limit through at 80 cents and get filled at 65. Immediately be up 15 cents of just, unreasonable. So what I did was I completely disregarded my fills. Even if I didn't get filled at all on the buy or the sell, I would just place the limit order on the ask, kind of like recording it. I would see the order go through, and then on a separate spreadsheet, input your trades. So what they do have accurate is the real-time price and size going off. That is true. So you can place your order, and if you see that it had the size there, then you guaranteed would have filled. So it takes a lot more honesty than actually filling and seeing what you're doing. But if you can keep that honesty, take the limit you have as gospel, and keep track of it that way. So, because that's where you would actually fill live, and the live fills are pretty darn good on TradeStation, but for some reason their paper trading is just lacking on the fill side. So that's not you, and there's really no amount of contracts that works better per se.
Okay, very good. Do we want to move on to Keith? I think Keith is working on some pretty exciting stuff. So you want to tell us what's going on, Keith?
Yeah, Randy. Yeah, doing some testing on some of the trade the moment kind of things, or the micro moment trading, and have had some success on that. And given the holidays, I didn't trade much over the holidays, so I'm trying to get back in the swing of it again. I've had a couple good trades, and yesterday had a couple I got in late, but pulled the plug and got out early for minimize my loss. So definitely a learning experience. And just watching today, mostly flat today, but anyway, it's really an exciting technique, and listening to Tony and Micah go through it too, it's very good. One thing that they talked about yesterday on the webinar was being able to go back and look at the charts. You can actually, we have the technique on the charting techniques here, that you can actually scroll back and look at the beginning of the day and say, okay, well, I ought to trade here, and gradually scan your thing so you're not cheating and looking ahead. And I use that a lot. I mean, it's just a fantastic thing to try to learn and do the trading on that. So, great technique to do on that. And still doing some of the longer term momentum trading kind of things, and looking to do that. So I'm tracking some things on that. And I don't know, maybe this spring we might talk about that, or at the Masters that's coming up maybe in March, might do something on that there. But Randy, I got a question for you. Where do you buy your McDonald's options? Do you go through the drive-through on that?
Yeah, I got one right down the street on the corner. So they see me quite often there. Yeah.
Anyway, that's about all I have here for right now.
like McDonald's, and it's been going up. I don't know what it's doing today because I got out of it, so I'm not watching it. But it's probably up today, since the market is up pretty good today. Yep, it's up. Oh, it's up at $3 more today. So it's taken off, and that's what our chart said. It was right at the bottom, starting a brand new cycle on Monday. It was starting a new rising cycle based on our advanced chart, and that's why the momentum trade was to get in. Now, the way that I trade the momentum is I'm just looking for 5% return. So we can do it by just watching the chart, and as long as it says it's still in rising momentum, could stay in that position, and I would have generated probably another $3 or $4 of a profit. But I'm just in there to get 4 or 5% return. I'm happy with that, and then go find a new position, because their stocks are cycling up and down, and so there's always something that's getting ready for a new cycle when another one is finishing its existing one. So good time for cover calls, good time for momentum trading, because this market just keeps going up. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to always keep going up. There is probably something that's going to make it go down, but so far, I guess we really haven't been able to find that for more than like 2 hours during the day.
Yeah.
It's a pretty significant week that McDonald's has had, actually. I didn't realize it was accelerating that hard. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's up. I think it's up over $10 since Monday. So
yeah, it was consolidating about 197, and it's 209 right now. So
yeah, $10-12. So, but that's the beauty of the advanced charting proprietary package that we have. It's just absolutely wonderful. You could go through charts and go through 15 or 20 or 30 charts in a matter of 5 minutes, and look for those ones that are just starting that cycle, so that you can look at them to get in. Looking forward to that Masters seminar, and Keith, I'm sure I'm looking forward to whatever technique that you're looking at to develop, because Keith always comes up with some pretty great stuff, and if he's working on something, I know it's going to be good. So that'll be, I think Joe's been talking about somewhere in that March timeframe. So those are always such great events that come that Joe puts on. So looking forward to that. Looks like we're getting a little bit of pullback on the market right now, which is actually good. It needs to go down so it can go back up.
Yeah.
Well, you got anything else? Anything else exciting coming up?
I guess, do you guys have any opinions on when we'll get any sort of actual pullback that's actionable?
Everybody's got an opinion, but there's lots of kind of major events that are scheduled to come up, right? January 15th is supposed to be the signing of the phase 1 China deal, so that's going to have some impact on the market. The end of this month, I think, is the Brexit decision of when the UK is really supposed to say they're really pulling out or not. That's going to have an impact on the market. And not that this is nothing to say about politics or political, but the Democratic primary elections start up, I think, in early February. And so the market will be watching the results of those very closely and react in one way or another. So I have no idea which way they're going to react or what the results are going to be, but I pretty much figure that that's going to have an impact on the market because this market is news based now. It's not fundamentally based. There's no earnings announcement today. There's no major companies that came out and said the world is fantastic, but the market's going up and hitting all-time highs. It's not based on all that fundamentals and stuff. It's totally based on news driven. And so every piece of news that comes up has an impact on the market going up or down one way or another. That's one reason why it's so great with Micah's technique. You're in and out of the market in a minute or two or 10 or 15 minutes. Because I use a little bit longer term because I use the SPX index instead of Apple or the QQQ. And so I might be in 4 or 5 minutes. Mike is in positions for just a minute or less. And so it doesn't matter what happens an hour from now. You know, if there's some kind of an explosion or if there's some speech that goes on or if the Fed does something, it doesn't matter because back to cash. And you can stop at any time during the day once you reach whatever goal that you have and wait till the next day. So whatever happens, yesterday afternoon, the market was on a tear going up, up, up. In the last half hour, it dropped substantially. And that was based on rumors, which I think ended up being correct, but that there was 2 explosions in Baghdad. So as soon as the market hit that, boom, the sky is falling, the world's coming to an end, sell. There was nothing in a chart. There's nothing anybody could have done to predict that it was going to drop there. And so you're out of the market anyway, got your cash, you're waiting till the next day, and now you're in today and it's just going up. And that's what's great about that type of technique, if you can just be in and out of the market so quickly. Oh, there's another question for you, Michael.
Micah, after your first seminar, did you learn anything from your after seminar questionnaires? Yes. So for those of you that don't know, in the live seminars we have, we started adding basically, you know, you could call it a survey. I know that has a negative connotation, but just a sheet of paper with some questions on it, how we can improve, things we did differently, what you enjoyed most, and such. The number one sweeping thing we learned was everybody loved the trade examples. The last portion we had screenshots of you know, setups of trades, because everything's moving in real time. There's a lot of things going on, and sometimes it's hard to communicate what we're looking for because it's moving every second, right? So that caused us, that gave us the ability to kind of pause it in these ideal spots to actually be able to, you know, sit on it for 10, 20 minutes and really talk about every aspect that we're looking at, so that when you do see it in real time, it makes a lot more sense. Everybody, that was their favorite part of it. So in future live seminars, we're going to have a lot more time dedicated to those kind of example trades, example setups, what we're looking for, and the ideal setups. So, and yeah, there was a lot of other good suggestions. We've already actioned a couple of them. You know, people wanted to see more recorded videos of, you know, the individual trades, things like that. So we're starting that on social media. If you guys haven't followed us, we're on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram now. Facebook and LinkedIn, we're doing snapshots series. So basically we pull 1 to 5 minute videos out of our live recordings of the morning webinars, and we post them on there as individual videos. We talk about all sorts of different things, and they're nice and short, easy to go through. And those are going to keep coming. So we're already actioning some of those things. And then other things we have working on that were also suggested was a welcoming kit type of thing, basically bringing up to speed 101 course, if you will. So we're working on a PowerPoint right now that we're going to give digitally, just in a backhouse recording. And then we'll have that. So when people sign on, it'll just be a video of defining the ultra basics. This is what the white line is. These are what, when we say E1 flare, what does that mean? And we'll kind of go through all of that terminology. We'll send it to the pre-existing clients as well, of course. But yeah, I think that'll really help kind of bridge the gap that we've seen between brand new and clients with it that have been with us for 7-8 months. There's a large knowledge gap between them and what they need to continue to grow. And that's been the number one struggle since we've started, because we've had people in so many different skill levels. We're trying to teach them all at once, So yeah, there was a lot of really good suggestions. We're going to put a lot of them to work, and if we haven't already started. So yeah, that was just a great seminar altogether. But and yeah, I believe is the Masters in March, or is the next micro moment in March? Or do you guys know?
I haven't heard actual dates for either one, but I thought they were going to try and do them both in March, like one early March and one late. But again, I have not heard any dates for them. Yeah,
because I heard the next live micro moment would be in March, so I didn't know. Yep. I didn't know if that's. But yeah, we will have dates as soon as we have more.
Micah, they might try to combine those two also, because your micro moment you want to do during live trading hours. So you may try to do that like at the end of the week or the beginning of the next week, and sort of combine it for people travel also.
Yeah. No, that's a great idea. So they don't have to go to both separately.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done that in the past where you come in on Friday morning and then you're there for the Joe calls it the cocktail hour. I call it the meet and greet, since I don't drink cocktails. But and then there's a whole full day presentation on Saturday, dinner on Saturday night, and then full on Sunday. And then so you can either have the seminar Monday morning or Friday morning, either one, and everyone kills two birds with one stone.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that at all.
Yep,
it'd be great. Awesome.
Okay, well, I don't think there's any other questions that I've seen, and we're certainly gone a good amount of time even without Joe here. So hopefully Joe's being successful in his endeavors of what he's got to get done today, and he'll be back with us next Thursday.
Awesome. Yeah, I think he's having some trouble in Puerto Rico with the earthquakes and such.
Yeah, I heard that actually some of the electricity was knocked out too, and I know. A lot of people from Georgia Power headed down there to help with some of the connections of electricity. So, yeah. So there's always something going on.
Yeah, it's a very eventful place. But
all right. Well, hope everyone has a great weekend, and we'll all be back next Thursday. We hope.
Yep. And Mike, we'll be back on tomorrow morning. Go to webinar should have it figured out by then. So.
There you go. So you can listen to Micah tomorrow.
Yep.
Take care, everyone.
Have a good week, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.